Okay, sir. We are on now. We are on the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. I'm your host, Mark Ross, and with me this evening is author and physical education teacher, Michael Drake. Michael, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate the time you've given me tonight.
Thank you so much. I wanted to have you come on because I found your book title very interesting. But before we get into that, I want to talk to us about who you are. What makes Michael Michael?
That's a great question. Thanks. Uh, I'm a pretty straightforward and simple person, man. I don't put myself on a pedestal in any way. I'm a high school teacher in Canada.
Mm,
I love what I do. I'm a phys ed teacher, and I'm around teenagers all the time, trying to make them the best version of themselves. And
mm,
I'm pretty passionate about that, and about especially the mental health aspect that I know you talk about a lot on your podcast. And I've really embraced that role as a male role model for these young boys. Especially, I teach mostly boys, and a lot of them are lacking that confidence and that drive to be a better version of themselves every day. And so I've really, it's kind of talked to me a little bit, and it's allowed me to discover something within myself.
mm,
And so, I was continually trying to do this over the last few years, and a combination of things was happening with work and home life, and then a series of things. One thing led to another. A bunch of people in my life passed away in a really short amount of time, and they're really important to me. And it allowed me the time to step back and really reflect on my role and my legacy for the people that I love. And I step back a little bit from teaching for a little bit, just to give myself space to think and really kind of clarify my thoughts. And that ultimately led to me writing a lot and kind of putting all my thoughts on paper. And it led to the book. It's titled "The Paradox of a Mortal Mind." And I know you love that title. It's
I
intriguing,
do.
right?
It is. It really is.
Yeah. So give me your thoughts about the title, if you don't mind.
You
Put you
know,
on the spot.
it made me think of the fact that we we are mortals. We are finite. We are here for a short period of time, and it's the moment between it's the moment that we're here that defines who we are.
Hmm.
It's the things that we do or the things that we don't do. You know what I'm saying? And we just have to maximize the moment, the moments that we are here, because we're not here forever. We're only here for a short period of time. So when I think about your title, it puts me in the mindset of that, and also it puts me in the mindset that I have to realign my thinking because uh, you you know they say that the mind is the devil's playground, you know, and if you feed into that, you're gonna get that, right? So instead of that, you should feed into being the better version of yourself, um,
Yeah.
maximizing the moment by doing maximum effort into doing good stuff. Just
Yeah.
being a good person. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something.
And maintaining perspective. You know, it's tough to in the busyness of life, as we all know. We're all chasing the almighty dollar and trying to get ourselves ahead and do what we need to do for our families. But when you get caught up in that, you lose perspective on the macro, the big picture. And I like to look at it from the other way around. I want to look at the macro as my central point, and
Mm,
everything else will fall into place because it allows me to develop my purpose and my why and understand where I want to go with it and define what success means to me. And it allows me that freedom to define it. And it's right for me. It might be something different for you. And that's the beauty of life, where You know, you have a number of things in your life that would bring you joy. And that's the beauty of it. We all have that opportunity to shape it as we wish. And so all the decisions that I make are really striving towards that why,
Mm.
instead of allowing the everyday hustle and bustle to get the better of me. And then 3 months pass and you blink your eye and you see your niece for the first time in 3 months and you realize how big she got.
Yep.
And we've all been through it. We've all seen it. But the same 3 months has gone by for you, but
Indeed.
you don't notice it in you, right? Because you just live your life. You just do what you got to do. You check off those lists. You make those appointments. You make that money, and you keep going. So it's
Yeah. You're right. I mean, time can definitely slip past you if you don't pay attention to it. You know,
yeah.
you get
I say that in the book how there's an irony behind it because when you pay attention, it slows down. I know it doesn't literally slow down, but mentally, and it feels like it slows down because you embrace those moments, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I know you mentioned some things that prompted you to create the book. Can you go into detail about that? Because I know in our initial interview you mentioned something about your friend passing away, and you wrote letters to his daughter.
Well, I'll clarify that. So October 2023, I'll start there.
Okay.
And my wife's father, after a long battle with cancer, he passes away in the hospital. And the whole family was there to witness his last breath. And it really shook me um, to the point, and it shook the whole family. All the adults were there to, make sure that he knew that he was loved. And that was a very difficult moment. It's not, I've never been through something like that. And it really shook me. And it shook my wife. And so I decided to take a little bit of time to reflect on that. And I know that my family needed me at home. It was my wife's father. She took it very hard.
Excuse me.
And bless you. And then within that time frame, within that 3 months, I really had a chance to reflect. I got a great groove. I was working out every day. I was reading. I was writing. I was doing all kinds of things and so much clarity, because I allowed that space to step back, push the pause button. This is where I'm thankful for my job too, because they allowed me that freedom to do that. They knew that I needed it, right? And I came back after that short time off, and I was the best teacher I've ever been because I had that clarity and I had that toolkit was being developed where I knew and I had more of a vision about what I wanted to do. And then fast forward to March, so this is in October, and fast forward into March, I'm in a groove. I'm teaching. A buddy of mine passes away. He's 42 years old. We all knew it was coming. He had cancer as well. He was battling it for about 16 months. And the day finally came where he passed away. And we went to his funeral that week. And it was just one of those funerals that just rocked me because it was jammed to wall to wall. Like this guy had such a beautiful impact on so many people. And it was really overwhelming. Like, holy shit, like there's a ton of people here. And I just, as they were saying their speeches, I couldn't stop staring. He has a wife and a daughter, and I couldn't stop staring at the daughter. And
Mm.
as I'm weeping, like literally, faucet, like I'm staring at the daughter, and in my mind, I'm thinking of my own daughter because my wife and I have one daughter as well, about the same age as his. And I just started thinking, what would she do without me? This could have been anybody. And I'm sure we've all had these types of feelings and thoughts before, but it really gave me an opportunity to um, really define what messages and what things I wanted to leave behind. And it just really lit a fire under my ass to kind of put all that together. And it morphed into letters to my daughter.
To your okay.
And these letters were kind of just meant for her to read when I'm gone. That's how I originally intended them to be, right? And those letters effectively became the book because all the chapters within the book are the themes of the letters that I wrote to her. And so it's really a beautiful piece because as I was writing it, I really didn't know who I was writing it for. And then I had a good friend of mine over dinner ask me who I'm writing it for, and I didn't really have a good answer. I thought, well, that's pretty much anybody. Anybody that we're all in the same boat here. We're all going to die one day. Like everybody can relate to the topic. And then I realized, I go, you know what? That's all bullshit. I'm writing it for my daughter, and she's literally the only one that I'm writing this for. Like when I'm putting the words on the page, I'm thinking about her,
Mm,
and I think that it's beautiful lessons for all of us to live by.
yeah, indeed. And that's deep too. Because your daughter gave you the focus to do it. So
Yeah.
so why did you title your book The Paradox of a Mortal Mind, brother?
If you break it down, to develop a mortal mind is exactly what you alluded to earlier. We're here for a short amount of time. Just accept it. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no sense fearing it. It's just something that every single human being that's ever lived has gone through. And you're just a piece of the puzzle. And there's a humility behind that, right? There's, it's a very humbling thought to think that, right? And that's my second chapter. It's called Humble Yourself. Like you're not that big of a deal. So like when you zoom out and you've seen that picture of Earth from space, right? You've seen, you're in space, you see Earth, you keep zooming out more and more and more and more, and you realize Earth is just another star in the sky. And then you do some research and you realize there's billions, if not trillions, of stars and galaxies all over the place. And then I think of my problems, and they're not that big of a deal. I'm just one tiny human, 9 billion of us. And so, all of these things were tiny lessons for her to live by. And I talk about perspective in the book. I talk about building meaningful relationships. I talk about prioritizing memories with your family and friends. I talk about your legacy. I talk about your purpose. And all of these things effectively are letters to her.
Mm, okay, okay.
So the
So,
paradox, so back to your question, I know I got sidetracked. To develop a mortal mind is the foundational piece to making the decisions that ultimately lead to you leaving a good legacy. But
mm,
the paradox in it is whenever we fear something, we tend to run away from it. But to develop the mortal mind actually frees you. That's my argument. That you release control of the uncontrollable and you just focus on what you can control. I develop a lot of my thinking through Stoicism. And one of the main principles of Stoicism is temperance. And it means, controlling your emotions. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to what happens to you. Like you have an interesting story. Last time we talked, I was very impressed with how you reacted to a very troubling time in your life.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
a principle that I'm trying
yeah.
to display in the book. And you did it so beautifully. And if you want to talk about it, I'm here to listen.
Yeah, I mean, which story?
Well, what you went through and
I,
where you are now, like what's your purpose right now with your
oh, my,
podcast? Like it's
my
beautiful.
journey. Oh, my journey. Yes. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. I, going through what I did, it, it 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 helped me put life in perspective because it gave me a different set of lenses to look out on.
Mm,
Uh, for years, when I was in my 20s and 30s, going through my PTSD, uh, when it was at its worst, uh, I wasn't able to look at life like I do now. I was in some ways stuck. I felt stuck. I knew that there was something wrong with me though, and the paradox of that was the shame that I carried in not wanting to let people know of what
mm,
I was going through. I I knew in my heart, Michael, that I wasn't right. I'm having nightmares, night terrors. I'm past nightmares. I was having night terrors. You know, I was every night. I self-medicated. You know, I was depressed. You know, suicidal for a while, on and off, and you know, I didn't know how to cope with what I was dealing with. Right. Uh, but and I often say this too. Having my daughter with me when she was a baby at the time, in essence, she saved my life because uh, I I felt that I owed it to her to be there for her and to be a better version of what a father is for her. So regardless of how I felt, I had to just suck that shit up.
Mm.
You know, I had to get out of self and realize that there's somebody else that's depending on me.
I had a guy ask me this question recently, and he said, "Well, what was the turning point for you?" And my answer to him was, "It was the moment I realized that I'm no longer the most important person in my life, and my wife and daughter are way more important to me. I want to leave them the toolkit that they're going to require after I'm gone, and someone else is relying on me. People are relying on me, and so." Like you just alluded to, like when you realize your daughter needed you, that gave you the fuel you needed to say, I need to cut this shit out. I need to figure out what's wrong. I need to figure out how to deal with it. And you went through a series of steps to make yourself better.
I
But
did.
it wasn't until that realization
Yes.
that you had to do something.
Yeah.
And I talk about this type of stuff in the book where it's things happen and life throws you a curveball and you don't expect it. And we're going back to this baseball analogy, but you look like a fool because you're expecting a fastball and curveball and you swing and miss, right? So with you and your story, like I was wondering what the catalyst was, and you answered it. You said once you realized your daughter needed you, it gave you enough fuel and enough perspective
Right.
to do something about it.
Yeah, it did. And not only that, brother, it wasn't until much later in my life that I met I met a well, I didn't meet a coworker. I knew of this guy. I didn't know that he was a veteran until we had a deep conversation. And he pulled me off to the side one day and asked me, he gave me a pamphlet, Michael, and the pamphlet was about PTSD. PTSD wasn't a thing before,
Mhm.
right? Not like it is now. He told me to look at this pamphlet and look at the symptoms that was listed on it and just look at it. And he said the next time that I see him, talk to him about this pamphlet that he gave me. And so I looked at it and it had about 12, 10, 12, maybe a few more listed symptoms of what we all know now as PTSD. And at the, looking back at it now, I probably went through damn near all of them.
I was about to say you had all of them, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So when
Right.
I saw him, I said, dude, this is me. All of this shit is me.
So did you need that validation that something there is something like something to define what you're going through? Did you need that?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
once you had that, how did that change
It,
what you were doing and how you were
I
seeing
went,
things?
I went to the VA and I got help. Finally.
But you were willing to change. You see the difference? Like you weren't going there with your shield up. You were going there with open arms saying, I need to
Indeed.
change.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's
hey,
the only way you're gonna get there.
yeah. I had to make myself vulnerable enough to realize that, yeah, I'm dealing with some stuff that was beyond my control.
Mm,
And not only that, Michael, I was dealing with it for years
yeah. Alone.
alone.
You weren't telling anybody.
Dude, I tried to take myself out. And by the grace of God, I was unsuccessful. I I I I I, I drove drunk on purpose.
Yeah.
you know, and
God has a plan for you, brother.
listen, I don't know, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it because,
You're
hey,
doing it. You're doing it right now.
I told people in a heartbeat, I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be here. I'm telling you, I should not be here because,
But you are.
but I am.
And
By the
but
grace
you
of God,
are.
I am here. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I am.
And you're helping people every day with the topics that you talk about and the content that you put out there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned one word too, intention. Uh, so I want to ask, what does it mean to live with intention? Because I
man.
don't really think people get what living with intention means.
Well, I'll
I
take
think
you back to the perspective that I was talking about earlier when it comes to looking at the macro first, looking at the fact that the light that you have a mortal mind. This is what the whole concept is. I'm gonna die one day. Let's start there and work our way backwards. And I want my future self to be proud of my current self. Every decision I make from this point till then needs to bring myself to that person in the future. And it's really important to me that the people that I love are proud of me. It's something that I innately want for myself. Everything I do is for that. And so to live with intention becomes easy because you have a why, you have the purpose. It's clearly outlined to you. And so the decisions you make and the compass you live by becomes innate. It becomes, and so you block out time to make phone calls to the people you love instead of waiting 3 4 months. You know, I call buddies on the way home from work on a regular basis. I call my mother and father more frequently. Like, how many more times am I going to have a chance to speak to them?
mm,
I talk to, I try to make time. I have uninterrupted time with my kid. Put my phone away, put the distractions away, everything away, uninterrupted time with my kid. She's only going to be this age for a very short amount of time. Embrace it. But all of that is because I have that. I don't want to live with that regret. Like I think about, like I told you, I talk to my kids a lot about this type of thing. And I use Denzel Washington. He's a great motivational speaker. And he had one time. He was saying a commencement speech at the University of Pennsylvania. And so he's the main speaker. And he goes, I want you to imagine yourself on your deathbed. And so all these 1,000 graduates are imagining themselves on your deathbed. And then he says, you're surrounded by ghosts of unfulfilled potential.
mm.
And so all these ghosts of these things that you could have been if you just had the courage to do it. If you just said yes to that adventure or no to that shitty job offer, or and all of these ghosts are pissed off at you because you never let them free. And I'm like thinking about that and try to visualize yourself there. And there's nothing you can do at this point. You're gonna die any minute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's already done. And so I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be that guy on that
Absolutely.
deathbed. You know, like that's not happening. And
Yeah.
so um it comes down to why not say yes to certain things? Why not write a damn book? Why not?
Indeed.
Like, I know I'm just one human being, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm good with
You're right. Just do it. Like a Nike logo, man. Just do it, right? Just do it. Uh
it. Just do it. So to have intention, everything you do, everything you say, every decision you make is leading towards that purpose that you created for yourself.
mm,
Like I
yeah.
think you talked before we went on air here. You were talking about how you just want to help people. You just
Yeah.
want if you save one person's life, all of it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a purpose in and of itself, man. And so everything you do kind of leads towards that. And you've left a legacy because you've um, you've invoked a feeling in people.
Mm,
And to me, it's all about invoking a feeling. It's not what you say or do, it's how you make people feel. That's Maya Angelou. And it's how you make people feel, the feeling they get when they're around you. Even when you're around a little kid, like you give them encouragement. Like I coach a lot of stuff. I give them encouragement. I give them advice. You know, those small little things can make a massive difference. And it made that kid feel, loved or wanted or, important. And all of these little interactions happen every day.
mm, mm. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, yeah.
So living with intention, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even the way you hold doors for people, like do it with, I want to invoke good feelings in
Yeah,
everybody around
indeed, indeed, brother.
me.
How did your life change once you changed your intentions?
I'm learning how to slow down a little bit
Mm, mm,
more. Like I'm making bolder choices to free up my time. I want to have more control of that and use every minute, for good and for stuff that I'm really passionate about and with people that I'm passionate about. So it's allowed me to kind of cut out the crap and cut away things that aren't serving that higher purpose because you can get distracted quite easily.
mm.
There's billions of dollars of ad dollars that are going your way to get you distracted, get you buying stuff you don't need, get you spending time on stuff you don't need, complaining about things that don't affect you. Like
Yeah.
that's how media is designed, in my opinion. It's not there to make you a better version of yourself. That's
Mm,
within you.
mm, mm. Wow. You're right. It has always been in us, but some
It
of us
starts
don't.
inside, man. Yeah.
But some of us don't have the wherewithal to even think inward and realize our true potential because we're so distracted, as you say.
Mm.
We're distracted on what to wear. We're distracted on what that person said about you or what someone said about somebody else. And none of it really matters a damn.
None.
None of it. But we're so caught up on everything else. But instead of us and being intentional with taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, we have to move with intention to take care of us.
Mm.
And I firmly believe that if you're not in a position to take care of yourself, how can you take care of somebody else?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I use the analogy of a student and a mentor relationship, and if the student comes to the conversation and they already have a full cup of tea, and the master has tons of knowledge, he wants to pour knowledge into your cup, but your cup's full. There's no room for more tea. You think you know everything already. You need to come with an empty cup. That's the key. And it's really it's, someone asked me, like, I've tried to describe the book, like it's not a topic people talk about every day. It's it's kind of tough for people to kind of swallow the topic. But two things I want to say about the book is it is such a positive spin on mortality and accepting that and living your best life. Number one. And number two, it is an invitation to slow down and really have what you just mentioned, introspection, and really learn how to define what that is in your own head. It takes willingness and it takes perspective. You need to be willing to change, and you need to be willing to change your perspective on a few things. You mentioned earlier how you had a different set of lenses once your daughter came into the picture. That's what you needed. And so, yeah, it's an invitation to slow down and really have
Mm.
that conversation with yourself, a meaningful conversation with yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do with you on podcasts. And I'm trying to get the message out there, and your listeners, I think, would really enjoy it.
Hmm. Good, good.
Yeah.
Now, as a teacher, uh, do you ever get the chance to talk with the students and help them find their purpose or find, a sense of intention in their lives?
I every week have a mindset Monday. So at the beginning of the day on Monday morning, we have a mindset goal for the week. And there's a few of them that I've done so far this year. First one was the power of yet. And boys that are 16, 17 years old, they get frustrated because they don't look like that magazine. They don't look like that muscular guy on TV. And I look at them and I go, yet. It takes a willingness to be consistent. Fast forward 4 years, you're 22, you're jacked. You're ready to go. You have the confidence. And I talk, well, so that was one of them. Another one was a Japanese concept called Kaizen. You ever heard of that?
Kaizen?
Kaizen, Kaizen, Kaizen. And it's a Japanese philosophy. And it translates to continuous improvement.
Mm.
So I talk to them, I say, can you be 1% better than you were yesterday? 1%. Most people say yes to that question. And I said, imagine you did that every single day. Where would you be a year from now? Where would you be 5 years from now? 10 years from now? You're going to be unstoppable. And it's not because you're better than others, it's you have a mentality to improve every single day. So to answer your question, I make it a priority. Everything I do starts here. And it's really important for them to develop that clarity. I also talk to them about the fact that they're not going to be here forever, and make the most out of the life that you've been given. You weren't chosen what color your skin was. You didn't have a choice in where you were born. You didn't have a choice in how much money your parents had. You didn't have a choice in a million different things, but you do have a choice on how you react to it. I
Mm.
use the poker analogy. You can still win with a pair of deuces. You just have to play your cards right.
Mm.
So I talk to them all the time about it because um, it develops the relationship, the trust factor between us, because we're vulnerable in these conversations, right? And so for them to be comfortable in front of their peers, and for us to talk about something as deep as that, it's really, really impactful. It's making my classes a lot more enjoyable.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. How's your relationship with your daughter?
Oh, she's my best friend. Yeah, 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 yeah. She's my best friend. She's at a great age, and super active, and she's fantastic. Yeah, she's great, and I want to embrace every minute of it. And so, like, my wife and I have one daughter, and we tried and tried. We had a lot of miscarriages, and she's our little miracle. And I feel for women out there that go through this type of trauma and pain. We talk about that a lot. Like, women go through a lot when it comes to miscarriages, and it happens a lot more frequently than you realize because they suffer in silence for the most part.
Mm.
And
Mm.
we went through 6 of them,
Oh.
and um, it was a lot to get over. But once I changed my lens, back to the lens again, I went from poor me, how does this happen, or poor us, I shouldn't say me, for us to, holy shit, God has granted us a beautiful daughter. Like, why are we not being thankful about that? And it turned into this whole revelation, like, we have a beautiful daughter. And so I haven't looked back. It was incredible to have that transition. And so one of the first, I'll tell you the first letter I wrote to her. It was called The Rock Upon Which You Stand. And so we were dealing with grief. We were going through all this stuff, and we were seeing a grief counselor, my wife and I, and we came to the conclusion that we wanted to tell our daughter the truth, and we wanted her to understand that she did have brothers and sisters. They just didn't make it, and we didn't know when or how to talk about something as delicate as this. And so part of the therapy, my wife got this tattoo on her arm, and it says Jeremiah 29:11. Do you know that Bible verse?
No, I did not.
It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And so that was my wife's favorite quote, because you submit to his plan, whatever that is. And so we knew inevitably she would ask about the tattoo. And so sure enough, she's only about 3 or 4. And she started saying, "Well, what's this tattoo about?" We tell her very delicately. And it was emotional for all of us. But then she goes, "Can I go color? Can I go, go in color and do my thing?" So we let her. And she loves art. She's drawing and she's doing her thing. And we're like, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay." And finally, 30 minutes later, she comes back and she's got 6 names written out on a piece of paper. And she's got 6 hearts cut out. And she goes, "You know what we need to do?" We said, "What's that?" "We need to go to a river and we need to release these hearts into the river, and so they can be with God." And I was just floored at how the hell did she know that that's exactly what we needed. And she was the rock upon which we stand, because she showed the strength. She's 4. And she showed the strength that my wife and I burst into tears. And so I wrote her that story and I told her what happened. And so she'll read that later on in life. So she knows that, that was the foundation that we stand on as a family. And so that kind of shit really, it's emotional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man. What was that verse again?
Jeremiah 29:11.
Jeremiah 29:11?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to go back and read it and put that in the tablet of my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I live with a lot more peace in my heart with just that submission to, things beyond my control.
Yeah. That's why we have a God that loves us, man.
Yeah, man.
Cast our cares onto him.
Yeah.
And that's what he's there for, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any future plans?
Oh, I got lots of future plans. You mean with the book?
With the book, yes.
Well, I'm hoping to get the word out. I'm hoping to get it out there. And it's available on Amazon worldwide. It's called The Paradox of a Mortal Mind. I got a couple things here I could pop up. And I have the audio book and the ebook as well. So like, I don't know if this will show up, but that's the title there. And on my website, it's themortalmind.com, themortalmind.com. And I got the audiobook there that I narrated, and the ebook as well. And Amazon, ships worldwide, as I said. So I'm hoping to get it out there as best that I can, and continue to have these types of conversations, because quite frankly, the response I've received is really, really positive. Like, the people who have read it, and granted, most of them are friends and family at this point, but they're really floored with the depth of the thinking, and it makes them kind of pause and rethink where they are. And that's kind of the whole purpose of it, is there's no right or wrong answer here, right? You're at a certain point in your journey, and wherever that is beautiful, and just embrace it. I have this 52 by 90 grid inside my book, and it represents weeks you're alive. So a week goes by, you fill in a square, right? A week goes by, you fill in a square, and there's 52 of them for a year, and every year you go up, and you look at this big grid. Me being 44, I'm like, damn, like half the thing's full. I only got half of it left, and so what am I going to do with that time? Like, you don't get a second shot at this. Last time I checked. So make those decisions now. Be intentional with it.
Yeah.
Cut out the bullshit you don't need anymore.
Mm.
We've all heard this. It's just putting it into practice, obviously, is a little more challenging.
Indeed. How can people contact you?
Themortalmind.com. I have everything there. I got social media on there. You can look us up on all the socials. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and we're looking to put out more stuff. Conversations with people, really deep, meaningful conversations with people. And I'm looking to maybe have an accompanying journal come out with the book, where people can kind of take the concepts within the book and then create their own small little package of their thoughts, and it allows them to organize their thinking around their own mortality and their own death, and planning things out for their families as well. So we're looking to put that together soon as well.
Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. You have a blog too, right? The Mortal
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah, it's the weekly whispers. We have every week we just put like one thought out there, and like a call to action, where just small little steps that you can take to really live a fulfilled, meaningful life, especially with the people around you. And so, like, examples would be like, have a dinner uninterrupted with your family this week, and put everything away and have meaningful conversations. And it's really important that it's just like 2-3 minute reads. They're really quick, and it just gives you a quick jolt to say, okay, I can do that. That's nothing. I can handle that. And then, one thing leads to another, and consistency happens, and things start changing.
Fair enough. Michael Drake, it has been a pleasure taking this time to speak with you about your book and your journey, brother. And I wish you nothing but the best, man. I thank you. Thank you for taking the time to speak, man. Thank you for being transparent. And I do believe that in being intentional, we have to be transparent, you know, and we can't care how others may feel about it. We have to be transparent when it comes to being intentional, because we can't half step with this. If we want to keep it 100, we got to tell it, right? If we want to speak your truth, then we got to tell it. Don't have
You
to
you got to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's I'm really vulnerable in a book like this, and it's given me nothing but positive dividends, man. It's I'm getting a lot of really good feedback from just thinking about this type of stuff, and having that willingness to talk about it, like you and I are doing today. And a lot of people are looking for the invitation, man. Like, they're holding on a lot of stuff, and they don't have someone to talk to. They don't. they don't know where to turn. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to think. And, you know, a book like this gives them a bit of a toolkit to tackle those things within themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Brother Michael, I wish you nothing but the best, sir.
thanks,
I
man.
do. And again, I thank you for taking the time to come and speak with me, man. Um, if you need any assistance or whatever from me, I'm here for you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Speak Your Truth with Mark Ross podcast. Remember, guys, I'm going to just piggyback on parts of our conversation by saying this. We have to start living with intention. We have to start moving with a purpose. Our lives here, as we said, are finite. We're not going to be here forever. So let's make the most of our lives. Let's get up, do the work, be positive, and be good to everybody else. You know what I mean? Just be good people. Move with good intention, do good work, and good rewards will come to you. Good rewards will come to you, but you got to be willing to do the work. And also, as I always say, it's okay to not be okay. Just do something about it.
Well said, brother.
Michael, have a good evening, sir.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep.